Hello and welcome to PRSay. This is the official podcast for the Houston chapter of Public Relations Society of America. And I'm your host, Veronica V. Sopher. Thrilled to be here with you again because on PRSay, we get to meet all of our members and we get to connect. The whole point of us putting this opportunity together is for us to get to know each other, build that network, and be able to connect with people when we actually do get to see each other in person. So I've got a phenomenal guest with you. She'll be joining us here in just a second. But before I bring her on, let's take care of some housekeeping. If you are listening on the podcast, make sure you hit subscribe. We don't want you to miss any episodes of PRSay. And if you are watching on Facebook or YouTube, drop us some comments and Ashley and I will be sure to connect. So without further ado, let me bring on the amazing Ashley Small. Welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
I'm so glad we're able to connect today. I don't think we've actually ever met in person, so I'm really excited about today's call.
Yeah, thank goodness for the internet.
That's right. Absolutely. Well, Ashley, tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey into public relations. We all have that origin story of what brought us over to this side, and I'd love our viewers and our listeners to learn about that.
Yeah, it feels so long ago, but I'm grateful that I landed here. So I went to school to be a journalist, and I thought I'd be out there covering stories, tracing the lead, trying to do some investigative journalism, perhaps. But as you can imagine, this was 2000 and probably like 8, 9 when I was about to graduate, and I realized the newspaper industry was declining pretty quickly. And so I started exploring other industries while in school, trying to understand what all degrees could fall under the communication umbrella. I somehow kind of stumbled upon an advanced PR course, convinced the director of the department to let me bypass the prerequisites, get into the course, and it changed my life, changed the trajectory of my career. I did start off at the Houston Chronicle in advertising, so I landed at a newspaper, but eventually I went on to work in PR with a combination of marrying traditional media relations with digital marketing.
I love it. That's fantastic. And a lot of us did have that journalism background and it just changed throughout the years. And so I'm real interested in when you left the Chronicle, what those next steps were and how that actually worked for you to get you to where you are.
Yeah, so I don't tell this story often because it's happened so long ago, but I was a part of the round of layoffs at the Chronicle.
Mhm.
During that year that I was there, half the newspapers in the country's declined, like just closed, shuttered. And so, you could see them kind of making their way, the HR department to our department. And so I knew that, eventually there's a good likelihood that I'd be laid off, particularly considering the fact that, the new folks are usually the first ones to go. So while at the Chronicle, I went ahead and started kind of personal branding myself, and I launched a website and started consulting with other entities around like how to manage their social media profiles. I became very engaged civically. That was the year that Barack Obama was running for his first presidential campaign, and I don't know if you remember, but a lot of young voters, first-time voters,
Yeah.
were super enthusiastic, and I was one of those who was like recharged, fired up, all those things, and through that election, I became very, very curious about how social media can be a powerful tool for change.
Mhm.
And all of those different variables led me to starting my own company. So by the time I got the call from HR to come on upstairs, luckily I'd acquired some contracts that I was pursuing on the side.
That's so exciting. So tell us what you're doing now, because I really want to get into this conversation of leadership with you. It's not something we've talked about a whole lot on the podcast, but it's so important for those of us who are running teams of different sizes, and even those of us who are managing solo shops. And so share with us a little bit about what you're doing now, and then let's transition into that part.
Yeah, so I own a boutique PR and digital marketing agency called Medley Incorporated. We specifically focus on helping organizations reach diverse communities with cultural competence. So we have about 70% of our clients are nonprofits who serve very vulnerable communities, and the 30% are for-profit organizations and government entities. We work with a couple of districts in Houston, and we help them also serve Houston's diverse communities. So ultimately, our clients want to do good in the world and make it a little better.
Mhm.
And so in terms of leadership, I've been owning the company for 13 years and I'm 100% owner of the company. And so, it's been many milestones and many lessons learned through the
Mhm.
leadership journey.
Yeah, no, I bet. And 13 years is a long time. I would definitely say you probably have seen some really great highs and some lows, especially as the economy and the landscape changes. What would you say is probably the biggest challenge in your leadership journey as you go through running a company of this size, especially one so dedicated to specific important work?
Yeah, so I would say that, one lesson I had to learn really early on as a leader is like no one's going to come and save me. And so I'm looking for like as a leader, you have to own quickly the fact that if you're an entrepreneur specifically, that you are going to have to be the bookkeeper sometimes. You are the salesperson most of the time. You are the HR person most of the time. And then you're the innovator who helps drive the company and drives innovation within the company. And so there was a time that I kind of resisted some of those more nuanced areas. Like
Sure.
I was like, I'm not a business development person, and I wouldn't want to, sit down and kind of do the more micro, tedious work. And once I stopped resisting the areas that I found brought on discomfort, our business just grew. And so I'm so grateful for kind of learning that. I also learned that, it's important to remove ego. Ego cannot drive your business or drive your leadership.
Mhm.
And so what I look at now, if I find like ego kind of bubbling up, particularly if I'm frustrated or upset about maybe the way that a project is going, instead of looking at the person or the people involved, I look at the problem. And so I think a leader's key to success is always attacking the problem, because yes, there's a person who is in the middle of it more than likely, but the truth is, a leader, we may not have communicated our expectations very clear, or we may not have the systems and processes in place so they understand the job very well. And
Right,
so I've
right.
learned to calm down, take a beat, and look at the problem, not the people. And that's helped me build what I think is a very healthy work environment amongst me and my employees.
That's great. And how many team members do you have?
Yeah, so right now we are small but mighty. So there's three of us full time. I have a part time assistant and about two contractors we work with.
Oh, that's so exciting. And what advice would you give for someone who's contemplating taking that giant leap like you have? And what do you think they need to be thinking about right now to prepare them for what could be ahead for them?
Yeah, so I would say if you are thinking about launching a business, and you have an opportunity to partner with someone else, I would encourage that.
Oh,
I
that's a
don't
great one. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't regret doing this on my own for 13 years, but sometimes I think, man, it would have been nice to have, started this journey with someone else. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is to be prepared to sacrifice. The first 5 years for me were really, really hard. I was not able to enjoy the fruits of my labor very much. And
Mm.
so, in during those 5 years, it felt like it would be worth giving up sometimes, and I didn't. And so just know that there will be times that you feel like quitting, and just don't, because it's temporary.
Yeah, that's true. That's absolutely true. And I think that sometimes we have delusions of what it will look like. I'll have more free time. I'll be able to do this. But why would you say those first 5 years were a little tougher?
Yeah, that's really interesting. I think the internet makes entrepreneurship look really glamorous. This whole thing about be your own boss, set your own schedule. And I am not my own boss. I answer to my clients and my team members.
That's true. That's true. I'm so glad you said that. Like, why don't you say that again? Because I think that's really important for people to remember.
Yeah, like I am not my own boss. I answer to my clients, my team members. My clients have deliverables and goals and annual expectations for their board members and their constituents, and I'm responsible for helping them get there. So I do answer to them when they need something. Of course, setting boundaries, but they have specific goals, and I have to be able to work in alignment with that. And my team members need support, guidance, coaching, mentoring,
Yeah.
direction. And so I certainly work for them if I want my company to be successful. Now
Yeah.
I could be negligent for my team members and my clients, and then our company would not be in existence. So yeah, so no, I very much answer to about 20 to 30 people every single day.
Yeah. I love that. That and that's probably I think that's probably the biggest nugget from our conversation today because we have a conception of what leadership looks like, and you're just going to direct work and you're going to direct strategy. But the reality is there's a lot more accountability in the role that you're in. And I just applaud you for the way you've done it. Ashley, how can people connect with you? How do you want them to learn more about the work that you do? It's so important. And I think you're filling such an important space. And especially here in the Houston area, how do you want people to reach out to you and learn more about your business?
Yeah, so our company website is medley-inc.com, Medley, like a hyphen, inc.com. We're on socials at Medley Inc. And I'm on pretty much all socials at Ashley Small. So yeah, we'd love to connect, love this conversation. I'm always open to share my lessons on leadership.
I love that. And it's so important. And I will be sure to highlight those in the show notes. Make sure that your website is there. Any advice for young members who are joining our organization, who are getting their feet wet? I know you've given some context about your journey. And sometimes the start isn't always what we think it's going to be, but you seem to have such a really great perspective on the past and how it helped get you there. So, what advice would you have for young members joining PRSA?
Yeah, I love that question because my first internship kind of in this industry, I interned at a web marketing company called Shipple. They were like the pioneers of SEO, SEM, like back in my day. And I got that internship with kind of like helped me shape my expertise around digital marketing that now is about 60% of our business at Medley. I got that internship because I'd attended a PRSA luncheon. And the owner of the company was sitting like right next to me. And I'm pretty sure I just said outright to him, like, are you looking for interns? And he was like, yeah. And it was a paid internship. It was really excellent. And it really did help shape what my professional portfolio would be years to come. And so I would say the number one key is to get involved, get engaged, show up at the events, volunteer. I'd volunteer at the luncheons, at the awards, and also to be bold and ask questions. And so I went up to that man and I said, hey, do you need any interns? We're all there. We're all a part of organizations like PRSA because we want to connect with our peers and grow in our careers. And so if that's the case, then you should be there too in that same space and kind of remove that barrier of fear because we're all here wanting the same thing. So
Yeah.
be bold and show up.
I love it. That's some great advice, Ashley. Thank you so much for joining us on PRSay, and I look forward to meeting you in person.
Yes, likewise. Thank you for having me.
You bet. All right, guys, make sure you connect with Ashley. Check out her firm. The website is in the show notes. We want to learn more about what we're doing, find opportunities to network, to collaborate, to give business referrals. That is a huge part of your membership in the Houston chapter of PRSA. And I just appreciate Ashley sharing her stories and her background. And I hope you can connect with her as well. We're going to wrap up this episode of PRSA. If you're listening on the podcast, make sure you hit subscribe. We don't want you to miss any episodes. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, drop us some comments and we will be sure to circle back. Have a great one, and we'll catch you next time.